Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now last episode we went totally nuclear and I did not personally have a meltdown, nor did my reactor have a meltdown, which is a absolute first for this channel. So what we got done was getting our polonium production and also our plutonium production. So we are good to go to start moving on to the next stage of our nuclear production setup. So with no further ado, let's dive right in. So in between episodes, I did a little bit of side work here. I set up a second nuclear reactor, so we will be ready for today's episode. That took a while, so I wanted to get all the ingredients put together offline. We also went ahead and moved over our reactor. The basic reactor we had built 3 episodes ago, I think so. We've moved that over here so that it's just going to take away and give us a little bit of extra power and only a few extra cyanide ingots. Most of our cyanide production, however, is going to be done over here in this reprocessor. Bugga Noir, I hope I'm getting that right, stopped by and gave me the tip that I really should be doing my cyanide production directly in the reprocessor. So I'm taking uranium and turning that into cyanide here in this reprocessor. So I just bolted this onto the end of the rest of our chain of processors. Now, half of that is going in here for storage because we're going to need a lot of cyanide in the near future. The other half is going through this full chain so that we can make the inanite over here. And I'm going to grab up a stack of that because we're going to need 48 pieces of that so that we can make up our platinum. Now, we're going to do that first today because we do need to get platinum automated. And I think I'm going to replace my gold production with platinum production because at this point, gold is pretty easy for us. We have a lot of gold. We can always swap this out as we go. But yeah, we have 2077 gold. That's going to be more than enough for the near foreseeable future. And we have a bunch of dimensional gold ore just sitting around not doing anything. So now's the time to swap if we're going to swap. So what we can do is take our inanite ingots and we are going to use this to make our platinum. So if we go down here and look at the usage of this, we drop this into our dimensional infuser and that will give us our platinum. We then need to take that platinum and crush it, and any crusher will do to make platinum dust. And then we're going to need 48 platinum dust, I believe, all day to be able to make 4 pieces of platinum ore. So 12 per piece of platinum, and then 4 of those will give us our dimensional platinum ore. We are going to temporarily move our Certus quartz out here so that we can turn this into our platinum. We're going to need 48 pieces here, just a moment, and that will be coming in. All right, there we go. 48 platinum ingots ready to go. Now we can use these in the crusher to be able to make our dust. So let's go back to the lab. Here we go. We'll throw those in the crusher real fast. That's going to be turned into our dust. Then we will just need to grab up some of our stone here, in this case 4 pieces of blank stone ore, and when the dust comes out we will be able to then put it into the combiner. So dust, we should have 48 pieces of platinum. There we go. So we pop these into the combiner with our blank stone ore. That's going to create platinum ore for us. And then we grab the 4 pieces back out of our ME system to be able to use that in our dimensional infuser. And then we do the same thing here, only this time we're going to put these in here. Wonderful. There it is. Okay, dimensional platinum. Now we are going to retrofit this system to be able to not produce gold anymore. Instead, we are going to be producing platinum with it. So let's go ahead and put down this drawer here. We're going to put our dimensional platinum into it so it's locked for that ingredient. And then we're going to just pull that item right back out. Now we can grab up this chest and put it right here. Storage drawer, technically, not a chest. And we are going to want to insert into that. So let's grab up our logistical transporters somewhere in here. Put that right here, and we're going to tell this that it needs to insert just like that. Okay, great. This is going to insert there. That's going to insert there. Perfect. All right. So this will now be able to pull out. Now we do want to break this real quick here because what we are going to want to do is turn this into a platinum miner instead. So grab these up, break through this piece of quartz glass, and put this into place. And now we should be able to put the quartz glass back. And with any luck, this will just start working and producing platinum instead. All right, there we go. Now we've got our platinum coming in and we have our platinum rods coming in. So all of that is being produced appropriately for us. And we have lots of platinum so far, but platinum rods are going to take a little bit longer here. So that's just being done in our casting smeltery setup there. All right, so the next things on our quest line are going to be emeralds and antimatter pellets. So we need to make the antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer. That is a mouthful. Okay, great. So for that, we are going to have to make up a couple of more machine frames real quick here, but thankfully we have plenty of ingots to play with. We are going to need to make some more elite Technium nuggets as well. Let's go ahead and make up that second elite Technium frame and of course our advanced Technium frame. I should automate those in here, but I haven't done that yet. All right, now we have the antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer. Wonderful. All right, so this is a complicated machine that we are going to be using antimatter in. So let's go run this all the way down here, and we are going to set this up near our new nuclear reactor. We'll put it, say, right about here. Let me get this wired up real fast. There we go. This should now be able to have power as it needs it. It looks like it takes a lot, but that shouldn't be a problem because we have many nuclear reactors now. Now we just need to give it antimatter. Now, antimatter is made in the nuclear reactor, as I mentioned previously. We are going to make a liquid antimatter by taking our plutonium and polonium and combining them 1-to-1 to make one bucket of antimatter. So let's see here. We have 6 plutonium and we have 9 polonium. So let's go ahead and do 4 of each for now, and hopefully we'll get more coming in here as this ticks through. We're just going to throw them both in here, and they should eventually start getting combined. Oh, but this, I think, needs power. Let's check this out here. It consumes power. It doesn't produce power. All right, there we go. We're slowly ticking up on power. We just need to get this to 12 million before we're going to be able to do anything. So in a few minutes, that should be cranking out antimatter, but we're not quite there yet. All right, there is our antimatter coming in. So we can start piping this out. I think that we can just go ahead and use our basic pressurized tubes here without too much trouble. That should connect up, and then all we have to do is configure it to pull, just like that. And now this should get antimatter. Ah, yes, it did. All right, so let's throw a diamond in here. It's going to make a weird noise, and we will get an emerald back out, completing that quest. We will then use our unstable matter to be able to pull back out, and in this case, oh, it looks like it stopped. I don't know why it stopped. Oh, I think we are out of power. So we just need to wait for the power to catch back up, and then it will finish making our antimatter. All right, that took a while. We are not making power at quite the rate I would like, but we did finally get our antimatter pellet there. And let's go ahead and fix this hole in the floor while we're at it, where I was checking out the power situation. Okay, great. So those 2 quests are now done. 3 technically. Get credit for all that. We are on to fluidizers. These are going to be relatively expensive for us because these casings need lots and lots of cyanite. So fluidizer casing requires steel casing. Let's go ahead and make up, I guess, 10 more of these while we're at it. That should be easy for us. Those are getting done immediately. Now we can make up our fluidizer casing. And I'm not sure how many of these we are going to need, but I expect a lot. So I'm just going to make up 20 to start. With that, we can make up our fluidizer controller. For this, we are going to need to make another elite Technium machine frame, just like that. Maybe an extra one while we're at it. And now we need to make a few of our redstone torches. These are things I definitely should be automating because making these redstone comparators is just annoying at this point. All right, so that's done. And now we can make our fluidizer controller. Perfect. All right. We're going to need a few other things to build this fluidizer multi-block. We're going to need to make this fluidizer solid injector. I don't know why this needs a machine frame, but for whatever reason it does. Okay, perfect. There is the fluidizer solid injector. We're going to need a power port. That means we need to make a redstone repeater. We haven't had to make these yet in the pack, but it's fine, not a big deal, easy for us to make. There's the repeater. We can make up these blocks of redstone real fast. And now we can make that port. Perfect. And then the last thing we need to do is make the output port. We can make 2 blocks of lapis here. We can make a dispenser. Oh, we need to make a bow. Let's go ahead and make up some leafy string here real quick. I think that we should be able to make all 3 pieces without too much trouble because we have lots of leaves. I am not. Well, I guess we'll put this into the system, whatever. We might end up using it for something else, right? Let's go ahead and make up a bow. We can remove that from our shopping list. And now we should be able to make up that dispenser with no problem. And that gives us our output port. Perfect. Okay, so that should be all of those ingredients. Now we are ready to start building the fluidizer, although I'm sure we're gonna need more ingredients for that. And that means we are ready to start making mob essence. So there doesn't appear to be a placer for the fluidizer. So I'm just gonna naively assume that since this is from extreme reactors, that potentially this is just using the standard recipes here and is probably just a cube of some sort, and that will allow us to make it. If I am correct, this should just kind of magically work, although this block on the back is not the right one. Let's go ahead and break that. All right, there we go. Now, if I did that properly, this should be able to take things and make things with it. So let's see here. And our generalized ender prediction can be used here, in addition to our overworld prediction. That might be the way to go because we're already producing a boatload of that and we're not doing anything with it. Let me go connect that up to our ME network, and let's also make sure that we are putting power into this. We are going to need to connect up the power port in the back here. So I'll do that real fast and plug everything up. So we have connected this up to our 82 network. It is now getting our generalized overworld prediction. If we turn this on, that should start turning into molten mob essence. That's what we want to see. This should then be able to insert into a standard tank. Let's see if we can't get this hooked up. We will add our mechanical pipes on here. We will need to go ahead and make sure that this is configured to pull out just like that. That's going to get our mob essence in there. And I believe if I put a storage bus on here, this will then be able to connect up to our network with our Fluix cable so that this now knows that this is a provider for our molten mob essence. So we can now use that in our various crafting recipes as needed. Perfect. And with that done, we can mark off this quest. And that completes the replication chapter for us. Great. So now we are on to the last section here, the ultimate technium. We need to make entro seeds. This means we need to take some of our polonium, combine it with unstable matter, and that will make one of these seeds. This we can then use on a Fluix block to be able to make budding entroized Fluix, whatever that is. I'm sure it's going to be very important for us. So let's go ahead and make this real quick with the polonium that we've got on hand. There we go. We'll put the rest of the polonium back in our system. And now we have our entro seed. We will need to make a block of Fluix. So that means we need to go ahead and grab up those Fluix crystals here. Let's go and see. I think, yeah, it's just 4. There we go, just like that. And I will go ahead and see if we can't put this above the ground just a little bit because I'm not sure how much room it is going to need. Let's just go, I don't know, out over here, put it up 1 block, put this down on it, and then we will hit it with our entro seed. And that's now turning into budding entroized Fluix. I'm not sure what that's for, but I'm sure it's important for something. Okay, so we've done that. Now, eventually, that should grow entro crystals for us, I believe, off of that Fluix. Well, I went outside, I watered all of my plants in the garden, which took a long time. I took a shower, and after all of that, we still only have a single cluster off of this. So we're going to go ahead and break that and get credit for the quest, but I suspect that we are going to have to do the thing I hate the most, which is cheat, because I just don't think we can do production at this scale as we need to do. So we've got that quest done. Let's go ahead and crush this crystal in our crusher to get some dust back out. So we just throw it in there. That should crush it momentarily. That's going to come back out the other side into our system here. And now we just need to find that entro dust. There we go. Let's get credit for that. That's done. It looks like we can make skulk with this, but we don't have enough dust on us. And it looks like we also are going to need to make 6 of these entro infused ingots as well, which could be a problem for us. So I think what we're going to do here is go ahead and get started on the cheating. So as I mentioned before, let's just take a look here at what this is. QGS hand, this will tell us the name of the ingredient. So then I can give myself 11 of these, what do we call it? The entro dust. There we go, 11. Perfect. All right, so now we've got those. We can then go ahead and use these to start doing the things like making skulk. Let's go ahead and make up a skulk block real quick. I don't know what we will need it for, but we will at least then have it. There's that done. I don't see any especially practical uses for it yet, but perhaps that will come along for the Warden data model. I guess that's the only thing that we need it for now. We can just drop this back in there for the moment. Great. All right, so the next thing we want to do with this is then combine these things to make the Entra infused ingot. All right, so this dust, if we want to transform it, we're going to have to do it by dumping it in water. That's the only way that we can do it at this point, because we are going to need those crystals to be able to actually do anything else. Or excuse me, we need the ingots to be able to create any of the machines that we would otherwise be using. So let's go over here to our pool of water that we've got, and we're just going to throw each of these items into the water. And well, that didn't work. We got half of them in there. Did we get all of them? Oh, it looks like we did get all of them. Okay, great. Let's just drop down in here, grab those up, and we got all 8 back. I thought I didn't throw close enough, but it seemed to have worked fine. All right, so we have those ingots now. All right, so let's go ahead and make up this ultimate Technium machine. We need 1 elite Technium machine frame for that. Everything else we have because we already made the unstable matter and those ingots that we needed. So that's that done. Okay, so we have that machine. We're also going to need an item batcher per usual. And for that, we do need to make up a pair of chests. So let's do that. There we go, 1 item batcher. Because again, we want to push the ingredients into this from the ME2 network. Aw, look what we found. It's a fox. It's a little snow fox, and it looks like he's got an emerald. Okay, well, we'll just leave you alone to your little nap, buddy. All right, so let's go ahead and buy up our ultimate Technium machine placer so that we know how we need to build this thing and what ingredients we are going to need for it, because otherwise it's gonna be rough to know exactly what we're gonna need. I'm gonna come over here just a couple of blocks to about like here. And in this spot, I think I'm going to break this floor piece, and then yeah, our pipes are right there for power. We can come up and we can throw this right on top there. Now, if we right click on it, not with the nuclear reactor placer, but rather with the ultimate Technium machine placer, it'll tell us what we need there. So 9 replica blocks, 16 machine circuitry, 16 reactor glass, 57 reinforced machine casing, 12 reactor casing, 1 simulation chamber, and 9 uranium blocks. Okay, that's gonna take me a while, but it shouldn't be hard. We have pretty much everything we need to make that right over here in our system. All right, let's get this done real quick. So we're gonna make ourselves up 9 replica blocks. Let's go ahead and get that started. We're gonna need 16 reactor glass. Let's go ahead and get that started here. That should come in momentarily. There we go, that's being crafted slowly but surely. We will need, let's see here, reactor casing. So let's do casing. There we go. We're going to need 12 of those. Oh, we have no CPUs available. Okay, looks like we have to wait for the graphite to finish. There's our reactor glass. All right, let's do the casing next. We are going to need, what is it, 12 of those? 12 of those, yes. Okay, just like that. Great, that'll come in a moment. Let's make up a simulation chamber. We can do that by hand. Simulation chamber, I think we have everything for that. Oh, we do need to make up those things real quick here. So let's go ahead and make up our elite Technium machine frame. We are going to go ahead and make up our redstone comparator. So we need 3 of these. All right, there's the comparator, and now we can make the simulation chamber. Great. Uranium blocks should be easy. Oh, and the casings are done. Great. Uranium block, we are going to need 9 of you. So let's do 9 real quick. That was real fast. We'll take it. I think all we're missing now is the reinforced machine casing, of which we have way too many. I think we only need 57, so 64 will do. All right, great. So if we come back over here, we should be able to right click with our placer, and there we go. That machine is now built and operational. Perfect. And we're getting power in from the bottom. So this only has 1 recipe, of course, so we need to make sure that it is getting all of these various ingredients. So let's add this to our shopping list, and we will start laying these out. I'm going to put these into our item batcher, and then I will also configure our export bus to be able to export those items into the system. All right, we have the ultimate Technium machine set up here. I just want to show what we're doing here. The export bus, I am going ahead and putting in the molten mob essence and the safe spent nuclear waste because those will each occupy their own slot in here. I don't know if these slots will properly fill or not if we just use the export bus. So I am using an item batcher here. I'm not hooking the item batcher up to the network though, because we're not auto producing all of these things. And some of these become intermediary ingredients or will suck away from other ingredients that I need. So we're going to manually be creating these for the foreseeable future. I did need to take a break to be able to go back and make the fluidizer casing, the enderium gears, and the cyanide plates. That took me a little while. We actually had enough stuff to make antimatter pellets, so that wasn't really a problem. But we do need to automate the cyanide a little bit better so that we're making those plates. And we do need to go back and automate the enderium. I'm going to do that between episodes because apparently there's a way to do it with the casting mod that I have not tried yet that works very, very similar to the old Tinker's Construct where you can mix different ingredients to make alloys. So I'm going to try that out. But for now, let's go ahead and make up our ultimate Technium. And momentarily, there we go. Ultimate Technium is done, and we only used up half of our nuclear waste in our molten mob essence. That's great. I think for the quest line here, the next thing we need to do is turn that into ingots. Just like so, that completes that. And now, last but not least, I believe the last thing that it's going to ask of us is to make our ultimate Technium machine frame here, which should be easy, but we do need to make up platinum gears, which I haven't done yet. So let's go ahead and teleport down to our lab. We'll grab up 4 pieces of platinum from our storage here now that we're automating that. There we are, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we can go over to our metal presses and throw this in to get the gear. And again, this is another thing where we could potentially be automating it in a more effective way by using casting instead. There is our platinum gear. And now we should be able to go back to the lab and make up this machine frame. All right, and there we go. So we have now completed the entire Ultimate Technium quest line, and that takes care of this entire Ultimate section. Next, we are moving on to a variety of nether ingredients, and it looks like we might even have to go to the nether this time around. So that should be an exciting adventure for us momentarily. Well, y'all, we are now about halfway through this pack, so we've made it all the way to Ultimate Technium. I do have some automation I need to do between episodes here, as I mentioned, to get these things so we can get Ultimate Technium a little bit easier. So hopefully when we come back, in the next episode, I'll have most of that automated and ready to go. But for now, I'm going to call that the end of this episode of Enterprise Architecture. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!